my friend. Today I'm going to be changing the strings on Little Black Zappa. This is my jazz bass. It's a Yamaha. I like it. It's part of the, I guess, the Ibanez Jazz series. It's part of the Geo Sound Gear. I like it. It plays quite well. I use it for many different types of genres. I dig the pickups. Just being a single. I played with jazz basses where they have different layers of them. This just allows me to play intricate leads closer to the back end here, get some little thicker plops, and then up here equidistant so I could do harmonics and whatnot. I have found that I haven't changed my strings in quite a while, so they're quite dead, and some of my bass students have never changed their strings either. So to do this process, I want to take 10 minutes, jibber jab with maybe some of my subscribers and see where you're at musically and see if we could connect. Other than that, I'm just going to be changing the strings while jibber jabbing with a couple people in meeting. We had a big members rush this morning. The only thing we're really going to need for this is going to be a pair of wire snippers. My buddy and I, when we were younger, were sitting in a car for like 45 minutes, couldn't figure out the name for these splicers, strippers. Long story short, if you have something to cut the string, great. Bass strings are a little bit easier than a guitar would be. For this one, I just want to down tune all of them, and I'm of course going to start with my high G string first, because I don't want to put any unnecessary tension on the fretboard. Other than that, I'm going to be tuning down the low G, tuning down that D. Next, we're going to go to our A, and then we've got our low E string, and then subsequently followed by the fifth string, that low B. Now, on a bass guitar, generally you can tune to many different things. If you're playing different genres, you have different types of things you tune to. And there are many, many different types of basses and many different ways to do it. Also, I'm just one dude on the internet showing you how to do one thing while keeping it real. When I get into here, I just basically take the string, stretch it out with my thumb. As soon as everything's down tuned, I go all the way, baby, all the way, yeah. When I retune this, what you won't notice here, because I'm too far away, but if I was closer, you would notice that, gee golly whiz, these are wound around the tuning peg a multitude of times. This one a little bit much than what it needs to be. It only really needs 2 winds, but the thinner the string, the more winds or wound you're gonna need around these. One of the really cool things that I found out on mandolin after playing for several years was that I was getting a buzz that I hated, and I used to play a little bit differently doing a mute, and it turns out the buzz I was getting was because I did not wind the string enough on the A string. Apparently lower end mandolins have this issue. Did not know it, blew my mind. So the whole idea is, you learn more the longer you go. One thing you should want to make sure that you're doing while you're undoing your strings on any instrument while changing is making sure that your nut or your saddle's not going to go missing on you, which means I'm holding my nut right now. That nut is the one that goes up top, and it looks like this. It should only have a specific way of going, so whichever way you take it out, set it down that way and pick it back up. The only things you're going to need to do this were the aforementioned strippers. Got a little pencil pen, which helps me tighten all my nuts and bolts. Of course, you're going to need the Buddha, Sripada, Hare Krishna. And then you're going to need a tuner. If you have an on tuner, that's great. If not, just get a chromatic tuner or whatnot. Also, these are great to have in your pocket whenever you're doing anything musical. And then I like to have a rag, a microfiber one, just to wipe down all the parts that don't get exposed. So, those of you who are in the comment section, what you doing? Where are you? What's the weather like? Are you American? Are you abroad? I don't like talking about like politics or anything because I'm not a big fan, nor do I agree with the policy and or the blang 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 of whatever's going on in there. You're in hell? Or is that Healy? Angry, bro? Oh, hello. How you doing? I'm angry too, but I try to keep it happy on here. Hi, Mife. This is my wife. She'll kick you off if you say anything silly. Offensive or rude. We don't put up with that nonsense here on this channel. So once you got all your strings undone from here and you're looking at your bass, it also is a great idea to see if your bass is straight or not. Holy miraculous Moses. I've got a little bit of a back bow only here. It's going like this. And it's not bad, but the bottom line is when I put the strings on, it'll equal itself out, but I just do not want that kind of weird bend there. So what I might do is have this pressed. What they do is they put a heating iron on it. It holds it on top of a vise. Vise pushes down, and then it pushes up on the middle while heating that wood. That and a nice little Allen wrench adjustment would help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these strings out, and I'm going to make a pretty little what the heck balls is going on here? I'm gonna make a pretty little necklace, and you know what's funny? I used to keep all my strings after I get done with them, and there must be somewhere, probably a landfill, that has like 40, 50 sets of these. Kept every pair I had when I was younger. Here's where your snips actually come in handy. If you get a tangle here, you can just cut off your weird ends. Whoops! Gone! I played a Steve Miller song. Oops-a-doodles. I played a Steve Miller song this morning with one of my drummers. It was lots of fun. One of my drum students. I love how good they have gotten so quick. It shows when they're playing. Let's see here. I gift money. Oh, you got money? Great. Money's fun. You don't have to gift me any money if you don't want to. The whole idea is I'm not really here to make the money. I'm here to spread it, music education. Every penny kind of goes into a bank account, and as soon as we have enough, I'd hope to get a grant writer, 501(c), and then provide a community center here in Hilo. That's my dream, my wife and I's dream. But aloha to you if you're just making it here. The best way you can show support for me, my friend, is just become a member. That gives you a little green on your name, and then I interact with you more when I'm live. As far as like the 2 levels of membership, one is like $1.99 or something, which is basic membership for just music fun. You get access to videos and everything before anybody else gets them. There are emojis and stuff like that, but I don't understand how to work the computer, so it's all a due process. And then the other one is something like $34.99 or $39.99. That's for people who just have money that want to support this. I figure why not put something crazy that is unreasonably out of my price range to ever do for anybody at this point. But the whole idea is if you have time, energy, and money and you dig what I'm doing, I'm honest, I'm hardworking, and you will see this channel grow because it's doing it in a very, very grassroots, old-fashioned way. I'm authentic, and I'd really rather just focus on the fun of it than to focus on the business aspect. However, that being said, we have been kind of trying to figure out how to involve Patreon, give something special. I have no direction right now, which is why I'm doing stuff like this. But I do enjoy interacting with different people. I usually wrap them up like this so they're not all crazy cattywampus, collect all my ends, and then put them together. Here's that point in the show, folks, where I grab something to clean. Now, you can do whatever you want. I used to use Windex on all my instruments. Did nothing. Nobody said, hey, I've been watching you play, and I can notice that you've been wiping your instruments down with Windex. Nobody ever said that, not once. So, oh, hi, Daniel. How are you? So long story short, what I like to do is just get a little rag here. I've got the Gibson's or Dunlop 65. Smells great. The stuff goes everywhere. You never want to put water directly on any of your instruments, just like anything. The wood will soak it up even if it has a small laminate on there for cleaning. I always spray the rag. First thing I do when it's damp, I hit that fretboard. The reason why? Dead skin. And yes, I am freshly flowered. Let's see here. Wiping this off. Ooh! Ooh, wee! Yesterday I had a jam session with some friends and I did a song I've never done before. I've heard it. Ray Charles. I do a lot of Ray Charles, but I've never done this one. It's really a popular one. What was it? I don't know. It's a really good song, but you know, some of the lyrics are outdated. One of the things is good to me day and night. We never really fight. Something about out in the street. And then baby's good to me. She knows her places in the kitchen. And I read that. I was like, what? That's outdated. So maybe a fun thing to do is take some classic songs by some great artists and like update those lyrics so they're not so damn sexist and so racist and so xenophobic and homophobic. I think it would be fun to do that. But then again, I am kind of an original purist. And, you know, you could be a good musician and be a horrible person. Hey, Groovy. Well, good vibes. Thank you very much. Today we're doing the bass. Just gonna be doing a little retuner here and putting new strings on. I gotta tell you what, I'm so broke. I haven't put on new strings in quite a while, so this will feel wonderful. Those were just slinks, but they felt like round wounds. If anybody's not a bass player, that just means I had played so long on those strings, got so much dead skin scales between them, they started feeling like elixirs or skin things. And when you pop something, there's no pop to it. It just feels flat and like there's no ding. Does that make sense? I'm an idiot. All right, so once you get this all cleaned up, what I like to do is just clean everything quite well. One, I got like lazy hippie OCD, which means I get the purpose of cleaning. I just get kind of lazy around everything. It's hard. Plus the brain goes crazy. This is the point in time where you want to move these twisters, the tuning pegs, up and down and see if your worm gear is messed up. If it goes ding, 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 it's time to replace the whole thing. The reason being, in the back of here, you've got this going in, which is a shaft with a gear on it, and then a shaft going down. When you tune it, it moves the fulcrum, thusly making like a worm drive. So, any musicians there? I have a guitar and I'm learning Master of Puppets. Nice! All eighth notes, and when you do your fives moving down, do all downstrokes real hard. I like to put my palm on the back to get that muted sound with a distorted pedal. I have a student that I'm working on that too. If I haven't made a video for that, I will make a video in the next week or so. Other than that, my stupid name, WAGO, with the name of the song. If it's on the interwebs, it will pop up. Plus a million other nonsensical things. This channel has like 12,000 videos. You know, when I started this, I didn't plan for this channel to become like this. The truth is, I just really enjoy playing music. And through the course of teaching music now, I've realized I should have been doing music the whole time. I didn't learn how to do the technical aspect of it, like the pedals, lining up chains. I did learn the backside of it. I worked for a lighting and sound company for like 4 or 5 years in San Francisco, which blew my mind. Not being on stage, but being the help totally changes and helps fix that ego. Because you watch everybody that you used to act like. It's so amazing. So long story short is, as a lot of our friends say here, we just don't take ourselves too seriously. We want to have a little fun in life. We know what we do. And personally, I just try to stay in my lane and spread those good vibes. But yeah, if you're working on Master the Puppets, that's great. Do you know how to, like, how long have you been playing? Do you know how to play your chords? When I said 5 chord, do you know that that's a major chord, but it doesn't use the median? It has no major or minor, therefore it's much easier to play 1, 5, 1. Any of that make sense? 1 E and a 2 E and 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Oh no! I am missing a screw! So, here's where I'm gonna take my trusty screwdriver. I'm gonna push this down just a little bit because I feel it's wobbly, no bueno. And then I'm gonna measure to see how far away it is from the string, so I haven't changed any of that tone. Escape from all problems when I'm singing and playing. Yeah, this is my meditation too, bro. And if you are a Westerner and you are from the Western world, this might not make sense if you're younger than the age of whatever, but the older you get, the wisdom does come. The thing that took me out of the mindset of this world and put me back into a mindset which is worldly was understanding the Eastern philosophies. Not to say you're going to be a Buddhist or know what Hinduism is, but the idea of just knowing what the difference is between the mechanism of the Western and the Eastern world helped to balance the way that I felt about everything. It shows you the flow of the Tao, and it allows you to see good and bad as nothing but the same choice. It's just your perception of it. So music lets me be the closest to Zen as I possibly can be, which is badass. I say badass now. I'm also checking my frets to make sure there's not any divots in it. The way I do it is I just take my ridiculously long thumbnail and I drive it over the top, and if I feel a little pop, I make a note in my head. And if it's really bad, it's time to take it in. Or you heat it up, you get ply bars, which are meant for this, you rip this out, you sand it down with a little file, you fix anything that needs to be leveled, you grab your new strip, you put the whole fret in, which extends the pass, smack, smack, smackety, smack, smack, smack with a rubber mallet, and then you cut off the ends at an angle, and then you file them down so they do not hurt your hands. That is how you replace a flet. It is easier said than done, but when you can do that, why would you ever flip a burger again? Why would you ever use a weed whacker like this old man? My brain doesn't work. I learned everything, but I'm stuck at the solo. Oh, good. I believe in myself. Good for you, brother. Here's where the solo goes. When you start out the solo, if you're lost because you don't know what key it's in, you need to study the key. Whenever you play the solo, especially for Metallica, it is based off of modal theory. Most of the time with Metallica, it is a minor pentatonic being played over a dominant 7. The way that this feels is a minor majory feel, but they never play their 3, the median. Wee-oo! They actually just play the dominant and then they play the root. So what you get are a lot of 5 chords. When it goes to that first solo where it has a that's more acoustic, neoclassical Metallica. And then the next phase of that, oh jeez, the next phase of that turns it into the, when it builds it up, that last solo where they go over the top. It's seeing how that works pentatonically and then throwing one or other 2 modes. If you do not know what modes are, it's just the Latin meaning mood, M-O-D, and that's a feeling. Having said that, most people teach modes through the eyes of C and the feeling that they have. I do for some students, but that's after they know how to do them. I try to say this. Natural minor is the major, it's just in a different order. Dorian gives you a natural 6, which feels good. When you hit that natural 6, it's supposed to be that flattened version, so you can definitely hear it. When you play another 2 modus in a major modus scale, you would have Phrygian and Locrian, neither of which are great because they have a half step. That half step there really kind of breaks the brain when you're thinking about music. Because it alters the way that we hear where the 5 is. And especially if you're playing Locrian, which is a 1, flat, 2, flat, 3, 4, flat, 5, flat 6, and then a flat 7. When we do that, it changes the distances between notes, and if you've lost me thus far, music. Yeah, it's also on here. On this website, I'd like to get going here. As I said, I'm not great at editing or any of that, but I am in the talks right now of having somebody that can help me get a website going on, which is groovy. Another thing that we want to look at when we're putting our strings back, some have holes that you put this in and some have open slots. I prefer the basses that have open slots, and here's what it looks like for me. I want to weigh where this is going to be, but I just don't put it in there once. I want it to get wound twice. Therefore, I'm going to put my finger on the first fret, hold tightly, and then pull down until it extends to the 2nd fret. At that point, that's when I'm going to put it in the notch. And then when I start doing this, I'm going to put my hand all over the whole thing. And when I start turning, I want to turn this fulcrum so the string goes up through the middle and out over the top like a lotus flower. When doing this, you want to hold the tension of the string down so it folds back on itself, and then you want the string to go over the other string. So when holding it, it goes over the top. Heck, oh gee golly whiz. Put that back in there, over the top of it. I'm just going to hold the string, and then I'm going to put my fingers like that to close the little loop. By doing that and then continuing on, the unit will turn, and then the string will close over the top of the other one. And this is going to give you the best tension, and having an extra little loop in there gets rid of a lot of buzz, and it makes sure that sucker is super secure. And the reason why it's cool is down here at the bottom, it's already linked in because we're putting it through a hole down there, so there's no reason for it to slip. At this point, I put a little tension on it here, pull this down. Now, granted, you should be doing this on a table, but I've done this so many times, I just hold it with my foot down at the bottom here and then do my turning. When you do this, you want to make sure that the layer underneath, so the string will layer upon itself like a snake coiling inside of a basket. That's about 2.5 turns. That's perfect for me. I don't want to put too much tension as I don't have my nut in there. But when I do, for a bass, it's not hard to see. Just look at the one that has a huge hole and not a small hole. Where can I go and play? I need some hips today. I got the dips, the double dips. Does anybody listen to Frank Zappa? If you're a musician and you haven't experienced Frank Zappa yet, and you're over the age of 18, please do. And here's where it gets kind of interesting. My nut's gonna flippity flop around, so what I'd like to do is because it's not in there, some people glue them down. I never really want to glue it down with super glue. I've tried that before. You just get into issues. I'm not gonna go do that. Now I'm gonna throw my G, my thin string up, and if I had to guess, I'd say this is way thinner than what I've ever had on my G, which is great. maybe I'll do some less Claypool nonsense. Again, I'm gonna take this all the way up to the top here, pull it back about a fret and a half-ish, put my finger over the top of it, throw it in the slot there, and because I want it to be going in the same direction the other one does, I'm gonna put my string to the side there. Pulled out the slack, threw it to the side. Now I'm gonna start the process of turning it. So once it turns, it pulls down and the string goes up through the middle, just like a lotus flower sitting in a pond of make-believe. I think I need to concentrate. Excuse me. Excuse me. When it twists around, make sure that string goes over the top, tippy-top, and let it wind down on itself. I need to hold it down. Yeah. I got a new Americana songbook, and I feel like I'm still singing songs from the American frontier. And if you do it right, it winds right underneath. See how it goes underneath that note? Is that enough light down here? Nice. And you can get one of those string winders. They're plastic or metal. They've got a little snipper on it too. I have one for guitar, but I've never found one that works quite well with the bass because most basses have these silly tuners with different shapes and stuff. They come in all different types. Ibanez and Fender are kind of the same. It's that old 70s feel. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to my next student. My next student lives on the mainland, but they're visiting here, and they're doing crash courses. So like, it's an hour's worth of material, as much music theory as they could do, and they're just sucking it up like a sponge. I absolutely love that stuff. All right, there we go, the G. Let's see him, yeah. And if you're doing this for the first couple times, you might feel kind of weird. You're like, I tightened it, but now it's laying down on the strings. You actually need to put the other strings on for it to make the most tension on your neck to pull everything back. And when everything's in tune, where the strings are supposed to be, E, A, G, D, G, B, it pulls everything to the right place. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, I can escape from playing problems. Learn everything was struck in the song. I believe in wild things. I like your whistle. I like your whistle too, buddy. Oh God, you got a concert in like 30 minutes? Oh no, not concert. A student, just student. Oh, you got a concert. Well, get ready, Scro. Don't waste your time with me. And at this point, I'm probably gonna grab my splicers, snipers, snaps, and get rid of this string here. I cut them with like an inch or so on the side, and then I just bend them back. What type of music? You in school, Daniel? Anyway, go get ready. Thanks for being here. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God, yeah, 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 yeah. Do 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 do. The E. Do, do, do. So is anybody else studying music, playing any instruments, working on a song, or just want to share something? Doesn't have to be great. We're not looking for great content here, or else I'd be doing something else with my life. Do, do, do. I do like music. It is very zen, as Daniel aforementioned. And you know, you gotta sometimes be careful that when you're tuning these up that you're not twisting your string around the nut. Sometimes that tends to happen. It will eventually pop up, but you're doing yourself a disservice. And making sure that those strings go under is a very, very important part because it winds on itself and builds tension. Other than that, there are many ways to do it. In fact, some of my favorite ones are you just put the string directly in, pull it through, and then let the tension go, and then just snip it off. It's also a great way to do it. But the tautness of this, once it's all together, will keep it all nice and flush. If you got nice thick work hands like mine, it's easier to bend these and cut them off. Oh, little black Zap, I'm so very happy that you're getting a new set of strings. A foggy day in London Square. I haven't thought of that song forever. Mark, how you doing? What up, Teach? So is it true what we don't play chords on? Is it true that we don't play chords on bass, only notes? No, not quite true. Bass players that do different types of genres might only play single note foundations, but almost all of the music that I really enjoy, like jazz, fusion, bossa nova, stuff like that, it's chordal. Now, we don't always have to be as intricate as Les Claypool or Jaco Pastorius or Victor Wooten or any of the other greats. But there is something to be said about playing a full chord where you're playing the same type of chord. Like on the ukulele, a D minor looks like an E major on an acoustic guitar. Well, on an electric bass, it looks the same, or acoustic bass, it looks the same as well, because those strings for all of those instruments are all tuned to something called a fourth. Do, re, mi, fa. When we play up 4 notes, open string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th, that 5th fret is going to be the open string of the string right in front of it. So what we try to do is when we're tuning in instruments like this, they're in fourths. Stuff like a mandolin or a violin are tuned in fifths. There are many other different instruments that are tuned in different equations. And they're just the way that we see that our intervals move. It's actually very, it's very fun to think of music as that, just mobile, moving into different concepts. So no, a lot of the time with bass, you'll find players that have been playing for a long time will do something like the simplest of all not one note, single monotonal notes is called a dyad. In fact, when we play chords, the 2 notes that make up the first harmony are called a major third or a minor third. And then when you flippity-flop those, it's either a major or a minor third. Hence, all music is built off of stacking thirds. It's called tertiary harmony. So the most used one that I would say that generally happens for bass players is dyadic harmony, which means you're using 2 notes and then you're forming a union between those and then you play them. The best way I could say is I use it all the time in funk. I'll do like a bong bong, down, and that down, I'll play a 1 and a 3, and it just gives a super, super, super great tone over the top. And the rest of the band can play with it too, because that's just a slide up from a half step below into a major third. Don't be afraid to use your beard, folks. If you don't have a beard, we might have some for sale on the merchant. It's not a shop. Just joking. All right. Oh, I give it way too much slack. Whatever. I'm just gonna have a super schlacky D. Doesn't really matter how many times you wind these up, but you do want to have it more than just one wound, because you want to get wound up. So, how many people out there have perfect pitch? I do not. I wish I did. I have relative pitch, meaning I've worked at music for so long, I could generally get within a half note of the desired pitch I'm shooting for. However, it's not necessary to have phone music. Boom! That's what I think an A is. Let's hear what it sounds like. Ah! Don't be defeated by the box. Ah! There it is. Boom! Boom! Half step off. Not bad. Hold on. No, that's an A. Ow! Bow wow. Close. And then once I get it to here, I go to about to the 7th fret right here. I put my hand directly, ha-cha, just on there. You can hold it like this. Just kind of make sure that it's not moving over here. Look at your headstock, make sure everything's looking pretty good, everything's band down. I hold it right here, and then I go about to right where my fretboard comes off. I put my finger underneath here, put like the size of your finger, and then a dime, and then pull up the size of a dime to a nickel. What you're doing is you're stretching out the slack between point A and point B. It's a great way to get used to the tension, and if you break a string, start again. You'll only do it once or twice until you realize the right tension onto which to pull. It pulls everything in. This is just the way I was taught, folks, and if you dig it, dig on it. No, I'm doing steel strings. Only basses that would be round with that would be gut strings, and those would be for short scale bass that you would use in like Latino music, Mexicano, Catina, Portuguese, maybe some Italian stuff, but generally not American or Western world. Cool. Now that it's in there, hit our A again. Go up 5 notes. And when I meant to say it, you go open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, and whatever that note is, that's your next note. Here's my favorite part. Weapon it! What am I doing? I am pulling out all that last tension. What happens is after a period of time, they slip back and forth. They find their perfect spot. And when I do something like, boom, how about boom, boom, that's a whole step off. You can fine tune then. If you know what a harmonic is, go up to the 5th fret, play on top the fret, and you get a boom. Test that with your tuner. Fun. hear those two notes? That's that little groove. Mark the Shark. It's good to see you, buddy. So open F to a G, and then we're taking our half step moves up. That's gonna be giving me this 7 type chord that I could use for sloppy. So at this point, kind of check out. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Just feeling out the flow. Got back to the island after going to the mainland. I'm very glad to be back home. Mainland does not feel like home at all. Yeah, I'm digging on this. I can see that my low 2 strings, I would love to have this string raised up a little bit. I think it's a little too close. But then again, you know, I might be able to just lower down this without affecting the quality. I am, however, going to raise up. I don't know if you've been playing for a while, but if the screws on the side of any pickup adjust the height of the pickup. So if you turn one way, it's going to make the pickup go up. If you turn the other way, it's going to make it go down. I like to slant mine, so my G is really close, and then my E is a little further away. If I find that I don't have a good low end, I will definitely go down there and I'll just move the low end, so when I do plug in, I've got a nice large underneath. That is how you tune a 5-string bass. I hope you learned a couple tips in there. I don't know, I'm just trying out new things. I'm not sponsored by anybody, but gee golly whiz, I would like to be. I think there's a couple thousand people that are subscribers to this channel, which is super sweet. I dig every one of you. And then if you are like Mr. Mark here, they're a member. They enjoy the quality of this so much, they throw down a couple bucks to support it. And for that, I am super thankful. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do that, but gee golly whiz, it does help. And we get to do cool stuff like learn how to play music. I'll answer any music questions you have. And when you become a member, the best thing is you're part of our music community. You will get to know all of us across the YouTubes. And then, I don't know, might branch out to something else. Other than that, thank you for being here today. I get the privilege of teaching another student right now. I'm so super excited. I think today we're going to continue on basic music theory function. Just understanding what we're talking about, tertiary harmony, and then how to play different rhythm patterns on the drum, just to see if they have a little bit of ambidexterity, and then how to, you know, when you know how to play a little bit of every instrument, it really helps for songwriting, and then just fit in where you get in, which is life, isn't it? Anyway, for those of you who are still here, thank you for hanging out with me. My wife, Rachel, thank you very much for moderating. I appreciate you. And Mark, it's always good seeing you. Thanks for showing up. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. And then everybody have a great day and be awesome to each other. I don't know who's live right now from our music community. One of the things I want to do when I get my website up is just have it be a place where you check in every day to see what's going on. All the people that we talk to and do all the arts and music with, I'd like to have them just fill out their schedule on this website so you can actually have a location. Consider it like a TV guide to music stuff that you were going to watch anyways. You wouldn't have to go look for it. All the stuff would be there. That's what I would like to do, and so to kind of combine that with my teaching practice, and then just have fun. Anyway, aloha to you. Be well. Wow, wow.